We're going to tell you everything that has broken on or in our RV in the past 2 years.
And the stuff that we've broken.
Right.
Which happened a bit.
Just a little. If you guys have been watching us for any length of time, you know that we love our Grand Design momentum. That doesn't mean that stuff hasn't broken on it.
True. And we try to capture that stuff in real time and put it in our location videos or talk about it here and there. But there are some things that just kind of happens, you know, between moves and this and that.
Usually cameras aren't rolling
Yeah.
when that stuff happens. Sometimes they are. But we're going to talk about everything that we could remember that has broken or that we have broken ourselves.
Everything.
Everything. And we're going to tell you how we fixed it.
Right. And these are in no particular order. They're just kind of like how we thought of them and put them down. And we do have a lot of video we're going to show you of some of these things, and some of them we're just going to talk about. So first off, like Tara said, we love our Grand Design. The thing is with RVs, and this is for RVing in general, whether you're talking about a Class A, Class B, fifth wheel, toy haul, or whatever.
Right.
All RVs are going to have stuff break.
Right.
If you're going into RVing thinking, oh, I bought a brand new RV and it's going to be perfect, wrong.
Well, you know, and the saying goes, every time you take your RV down the road, it goes through an earthquake.
That's very
And
true.
it's kind of true. The first year of RVing, we traveled every 7 to 10 days. And now this past year, we've traveled every couple weeks or so.
Yeah, and we've got probably about 22,000 miles on this RV now, and probably 80 or 90 stops.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more than that. But anyhow, yeah, so stuff inside and outside shakes as you're going down the road. And we've been on some crappy roads.
You know, we like to try to keep everything on the level with you guys, and this is no different. We're going to lay everything out here. Like Tara said, these things are in an earthquake every week or two. Stuff's going to break. It's going to happen. The key differentiator is, for us, and what we found out, is Grand Design really stands behind their product. One of the reasons we picked Grand Design was the fact that we would never have to go to a dealer.
Right, yeah.
Because we're never near our home dealer. We travel full time. So we wanted to make sure that we would be able to get mobile techs on the road, which we have done and we're going to talk about, or just have them send us parts to do it ourselves.
Right.
And they've held true to that, and it's been awesome. Item number one.
Oh.
Our pin box. So if you're not familiar with what a pin box is, it's the thing on the front of the RV that goes into the hitch. It's got the pin on it. Well, Lippert had a run of their Rotaflex pin boxes. The Rotaflex is the one that just has the rubber between the little thing, and some of them were slipping and they were replacing them. So we kept an eye on ours, and sure enough, ours slipped just a little bit. So we emailed Lippert directly, sent them a picture, and they said, no problem, we're going to replace your pin box for free.
But we wanted to upgrade it.
Yeah, we thought, well, you know, as long as they're replacing it for free, can we pay the difference and get their biggest Mac Daddy pin box, the MaxAir? So we asked them, and they said, sure. So we said, sure. The only mistake I made in that whole transaction was they probably would have also sent a mobile tech out to put it on. I thought, how hard can it be? It's like 6 bolts. The thing weighs like 200 pounds. It's freaking heavy.
And his poor friend Charlie came to visit us when we were in Charleston.
I put him to work.
And he had no idea what he was getting himself into. So thank you, Charlie, for helping. That was pretty tough.
Yeah, that thing was heavy.
Yeah, don't do that yourselves.
Yeah, get somebody to do it. The bottom line is we now have the MaxAir. People ask us a lot about that pin box, and you know, if it reduces chucking and banging on the truck. And quite honestly, I don't really know. It's definitely a smooth ride, but we never really had any chucking even with the Rotaflex. So it's a good pin box. The other one was pretty good too. It's definitely an upgrade.
We're happy with it. We're happy how Lippert handled the situation.
Yeah.
Again, our only mistake was not getting somebody to install it.
Yeah.
Item number 2 is our furnace.
Right. Of course, furnaces only break in the winter because that's when you're using them.
Right.
I mean, they probably break other times
Or the
too.
spring or the fall when you're somewhere cold.
Right. So we were in North Carolina, and our furnace was doing what's apparently a pretty common thing. it would turn on and run for maybe 2 minutes and then shut off. We called Grand Design, and then we called a mobile tech and said, our furnace is not working, please come help. And what I like to do whenever mobile tech is out working on the RV is I like to watch them and ask lots of questions.
Yes.
Randy was really cool. He basically showed me that on the furnace there's this circuit with a sail switch, which is basically a little switch that blows. When the fan is blowing it, it closes it. And then there's a thermal switch. When it gets too hot, that opens. So if anything in that circuit is open, your system turns on, runs for a little bit. It determines that it doesn't like the fact that the circuit is open and shuts back off. They're really cheap parts, so I got a couple extras. Because Randy basically took it apart, put it back together, and started working, so he left me with a couple of extra parts. And sure enough, several months later down the road, it happened again, and this time I replaced the thermal switch versus the sail switch, and I was up and running.
A little note about mobile techs, they're not free.
Right. Just because I said Grand Design will send a mobile tech doesn't mean they're going to pay the service fee.
Right.
They're going to pay the normal repair fee, labor, and parts, but you're typically responsible for the service fee, which can be anywhere between 50 and 100 bucks. I think we've had 50, 75, and 100.
Yeah.
So it varies. Yeah, it varies. But is it worth $100 to have somebody come to your RV instead of hitching up your house and going in to the shop?
When you need your furnace to work?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
very, very worth it.
Yes.
So, furnace fix, it's been good ever since.
Right.
Number 3?
Actually, it was the first thing that ever broke on our RV, and it was a taillight.
Right, we were driving between 2 locations, and our display on our Ford basically said taillight malfunction, and it was doing the quick flash whenever I'd use a turn signal.
Yeah, I think we'd only been in our RV for a few months, so we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? What do we do? Oh no!
Yeah, so we pulled over, tried to diagnose it, tried to wiggle cables and find the obvious stuff. None of that worked, so we just got to where we were going, trying not to tick people off with no turn signal, and called a mobile tech.
Yes, and they did a great job. They came out. I think it took them 2 days to do it because they had to
get more
figure
wire
out
and
what
stuff.
was wrong, diagnose the problem, and then go back and get enough supplies for it.
Right. It turned out that they said there was a short in the turn signal line somewhere between the nose and the taillight.
Anywhere in
It's
44 feet.
Somewhere in there. So they just replaced the whole line, ran it, it worked great.
He's good with electrical wiring, but
I didn't want to mess with that.
no.
That's one you would definitely want to call a mobile tech for. And you might wonder, okay, how do we find a mobile tech? You Google, you look at some reviews, and you say they look okay. You call them, and most of the time you can call them directly and work it out between you and the mobile tech, and then submit your paperwork to Grand Design. Clear it with them first, obviously.
Right.
And other times we've been able to have the mobile tech work directly with Grand Design, and we didn't pay them anything except for the fee, which is what this was.
Yeah, and I want to say something about Grand Design's customer service. You've called them several times with questions about an issue that we've had, and they've helped you over the phone try to figure out what was wrong.
Oh yeah, we've had them on the phone saying, let me walk out and take a look at one and we'll see what we got. And they're really great at customer service.
Yeah.
Their process is they want you to try your dealer first, which I understand. So if you're near your dealer, give them a shot. If they suck, then go the mobile tech route. If you're traveling full time and you're in the middle of nowhere, call Grand Design
Right.
directly, and maybe they have a good line on a mobile tech. They even have a mobile fleet out there doing stuff.
Something that has happened to us several times over the past couple of years is body damage.
I run into stuff.
Well, you know, it's not his fault. It's our fault because there are 2 sets
That's
of
true.
eyes
That's true. It's your
watching
fault.
out for stuff. No, I said our fault. It's our
Is that
fault.
what you said? Our very first one
Yeah.
was, we think we had our RV like a week. You know, we love our full body paint, and we paid quite a bit of money for this full body paint. And 2 or 3 weeks out of the gate, I run a triangle, or a, what is it? Diamond?
Sign. One of those, yeah, a diamond sign.
I run a sign down the side of our RV, and
It was like 2 weeks in, our second campground ever. And it was kind of a tight turnaround, especially for a newbie. So
I just turned a little too tight. Luckily, because of the trailer swing, it didn't slide all the way down.
Oh man, but that
it started to
noise.
skid, and then as the trailer moved away, it came off. But woo, that was scary.
Yeah.
We wore that scar.
That hurt.
We wore that scar and owned it.
That hurt.
Second time we did body damage was in Fort DeSoto, and man, let me tell you.
Fort
this
DeSoto
RV
is a county park in St. Petersburg, Florida.
really nice county park.
It's a very nice county park, but the sites are tight with the trees
whole
and nature and the big oak trees that bend and twist and curve out large branches.
Yeah, and when I saw this site, when we actually got there, I said, I'd give myself maybe 40% chance of getting it in this site. It was tight. It was really tight.
But he did a great job, and we worked as a team, and we got it in there. It was still a nail biter.
So we got it in fine. The trouble happened when we were leaving. So we're driving out of the site, and you have to, of course, when you're pulling a large fifth wheel, take it out as wide as you can. So I'm doing that. I'm watching the bushes on the side. I'm kind of watching there. Tara's watching the right side.
I'm watching something on the right hand lower corner. It was either a truck or a sign or something. Something was right there and we couldn't move it out of the way. Yeah. So I was watching that because we were about that far away from it.
And then we're going super, super slow and then crunch.
Oh, that noise is so bad. That noise is so bad.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It turned out we hit a tree up high, up on the front of the fifth wheel on the cap. And this one wasn't one that we could let go because it broke the fiberglass. There were pieces of tree stuck in it. We were literally going less than a mile an hour.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you've got a 30,000 pound rig, which is what our truck and RV is, you don't have to be going very fast to cause a lot of damage.
Yeah. So the scratches and the dent we got in Fort DeSoto, we got fixed right away. And that was when we moved sites and we moved over to Bradenton and we found this great guy.
Yeah, so I just, again, Googled mobile body repair.
We were expecting it to be expensive.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking like $1,200.
I know.
That was the number I had in my head. The guy we contacted asked if we knew what color paint or had the paint codes. When we got our RV, they gave us paint codes with it. So I gave him those. He says, great, no problem. He comes out. He does, like a Bondo sanding. The way the RV is painted with all the stripes, he repaints that whole stripe down to the next point, so that way you can't tell.
Right.
He did it with like a spray, like an airbrush, and it was
guess
great.
what?
It was like $300.
I know. So we felt like, oh, phew, okay, that wasn't too bad. I mean, it was $300 that we didn't want to spend, but it, in our minds, could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely.
So I feel like we got lucky there. Did we have one more scratch?
You don't remember what it was?
What was Montana? We had the trees in Montana at the Harvest Host.
Oh yeah,
So
I
we
forgot about
have
those.
more than we
so there's
thought.
four. There's four body damage.
Yeah.
Five. 5 body damage things.
Yeah.
Another thing that was damaged, and I think this actually happened between the scratch on the side and the front cap, was we used to have a much taller toolbox, and we were kind of warned that you might want to get rid of that toolbox. And sure enough, we were backing into a boondocker's welcome and got into a funky angle backing down a hill, and the toolbox rubbed the underneath of the overhang part of the RV.
Right.
And that's still there. You can really barely notice it.
But
So
that's why we often really stress the importance of getting like a low profile toolbox for the back of your truck. The last scratch happened not that long ago.
When I knocked over your brother's mailbox.
But that was a wee thing. That was another wee situation. So my brother has a very large driveway, but it's on a pretty busy road.
And it's a very skinny driveway, so there's not much room to like cut a corner.
Yeah, and I wasn't doing my job and watching because we'd just gotten there and I was hugging my mom and she was playing with Daisy and I was like, oh, he's done this a bunch of times, he's good. So I was kind of watching, but not really. And then I see the mailbox fall over.
And the way that one happened was you've got the street like this. This is the street, and I've got the RV here, and I wanted to cut to back in like this. Is that making any sense?
Yeah.
And so I tried to turn it sharp, and of course the sharper you turn, the more tail swing you're going to have, and the tail swing came out and just knocked his mailbox right off.
Yeah.
And put a scratch about that long.
It was an easy fix for his mailbox.
Yeah.
And once we got back to Bradenton, we called the same guy, and he fixed the first scratch that we ever had on the side and the scratch that we got from the mailbox.
Yep. So right now, Our RV's perfect. We have no scratches visible anywhere on our RV.
I hope you didn't jinx it. Yeah.
Next on the list, slide ski. What is a slide ski, you ask? I didn't know either. As the slide is coming out along the bottom, you've got these things called slide skis, and all they are is runners of plastic, so that the plastic from the bottom of the slide can run across the like plastic things for the top of the slide. It basically just skis across. And it was cracked along the side and needed to be fixed because water could get in there.
How did we notice that? Do you remember?
I just saw it setting up the RV, and
We weren't having an issue with anything. You just saw it.
yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't manifesting itself in
remember.
any kind of leak or anything, but
Yeah.
we could see that it was cracked and it was getting worse. So with that one, again, something I'm not familiar with, it was time to call,
Mobile Tech.
coordinated a mobile tech just like the other times. And again, they came out and
But this time they didn't do as good of a job, remember?
yeah, so here's what happened. They came out and replaced the slide ski. Grand Design sent me the slide skis, and then I coordinated with a mobile tech to come out and install them. I didn't know how they did it, so I watched, and basically all they did was they took a little bottle jack and a 4x4 and a 2x4 and put that underneath the slide and jacked the slide up so they could get under it. And it's just held on with some like...
Glue or something. Right?
yeah, it's actually held on by like two-sided 3M tape, and so they used that and put it back on there, and phew, they were out. And about 2 weeks later, it started to come off. The whole thing that they put on there was just not sticking, and the whole slide ski came off. It was sticking inside the RV.
They did a crappy job.
I called Grand Design, and they sent me another slide ski, and this one I did myself.
Yeah.
And it's been good ever since.
Yes. You
I put-
know, if you
'cause
want it done right, you gotta do it yourself.
It's a true story.
Unless it's wiring from nose to tail.
Yeah. So I did that myself. I did just like they did. I put the board under there, jacked it up, got underneath there, pulled the old one out, cleaned all the glue off really good, which I don't think they did the first time. And then I put it back on with extra adhesive. And we've been good.
Yeah. Good job, babe.
Not bad.
Along our travels out west, we encountered a lot of wind. And with wind can cause some damage once in a while, which is the case for our next item.
Right. So this item is our slide topper. People have asked us about those, if we like them, don't like them, should they get them. We like them because it keeps the stuff off the top of your slide. No rain or anything ever gets on the top. One issue with the slide toppers is if the wind hits it just right from the side, it can cause flapping. People have said you can put like a half inflated beach ball under there to stop it from getting there. Ours just flapped and eventually started to tear a little bit. So called Grand Design, and I know that's something I can fix. They sent us one. Right now it's sitting under the RV because I haven't put it on yet.
Hopefully, when we get out to your friend Doug's house and we have some time and some space, we can do it then.
Yeah, it's not easy to carry around. It's like 12 feet long.
I know.
But again, Grand Design, Johnny on the spot, sent us the parts, so good to go.
Awesome. One of the first mistakes we've ever made, and this one is our fault, is our pantry door.
I'll just show you right here. If you'll notice, this door opens this way, and the slide is right here. So what happened is, this came open during the earthquake of Travel Day 2017, 18, something or other, and it was out like this, and of course the slide is in. So when the slide comes out,
And this was before we ever knew to look and make sure that the slides were clear before we put them out.
we learned that
it.
lesson.
We learned it really fast.
Right. You just gonna get some food? Mind your way? Go ahead. Get your food. So the slide grabbed the door and promptly decided to rip it off the wall and tear a bunch of stuff up. And we heard a bunch of crunching noises.
Oh, that's another bad.
That's a horrible noise.
Anytime you hear crunching noises with your RV, it's a bad day. That's our fault, and as you can see, it's still broken. You
Yeah.
fixed the slide part of it.
Yeah, I fixed the slide part of it. Luckily the door wasn't messed up in such a way that I couldn't just pop the frame back in.
Yeah.
It still got some cosmetic damage, but it's still functional, so it's really not a big deal.
That's on one of our to-do lists, but it's kind of made its way down to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm waiting about a year and a half on average for my tasks.
We're kind kind of used to it by now. It gives it character.
Yeah, character.
Yeah. While we're in the kitchen, something else that just drove me crazy at first was the cabinet doors here. They're glass. Well, on the opposite side of this glass is this like spray-on frost design. I'm not really sure what it's made of, but when we would travel, we would get scratches on the inside from something falling out or falling towards the door. It would happen both in our pantry and in our cabinet doors up here, and it made me crazy. It didn't really bother him that much, but you could see the scratches in the glass, and it just drove me nuts, and that's all I could see. I thought, well, why don't we go to the dollar store and buy a cheap piece of like 50-cent white poster board and stick that on the back of each piece of glass. And it works wonderfully now.
Elmer's glue stick. Bam, done.
Yes, and I know that some of you will say, oh, you should get the tension rods and this and that. We have those, but stuff can still get banged around and pushed against the glass, and it didn't take that much
To scratch it.
Yeah. So that was our quick and easy fix. Cost $1 and good to go. And we've had the same poster board up now ever since.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Yeah.
Another issue we ran into early on was our awning lights not working. Our awnings have LED light strips along all 3 of the awning lights, and they just didn't work, like right out of the gate. So again, a little more Googling, and found out, oh, it's probably just a fuse. The question is, where's the fuse?
And that's when you called, I remember, you called Grand Design, and they helped you figure out what fuse.
Yeah. Because the fuse for the rear awning on the side is actually behind the panel in there. You got to pull the 4 screws out and find the wire, and it's an inline fuse. The fuse for the 2 main awnings, they're on the same circuit, and that was down in the basement. And they helped me find that, swapped out the fuse, good to go.
Yeah. All right.
Next on the list, garage tie downs. So if you watched our Momentum Factory tour video, you know that, I forget what they're rated for, they're like 5,000 pounds each ring or something.
Yeah, the D-rings?
Yeah, I don't know what they are, we'll put it on the screen, but they're rated for that weight, but they're not really rated for the D-ring to be pulled sideways a lot, which we have from our straps to the motorcycle. They get pulled sideways, and the D-ring starts to look a little more like a P-ring. And they just bent, you know.
Yeah.
One of them actually bent to the point where it broke and the strap came completely off. Lucille was still fine in her wheel dock with 3 other straps, but the back of the bike slid over a little bit, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
I remember opening the door and looking and like, oh my God.
What's this?
What happened?
Yeah.
So if you do have some bending D-rings, replace them before they break.
Good point.
Easy replacement, a couple screws, no problem.
How'd they go? Awesome. All right, the next item on our list is the fuel pump.
If you saw our recent boondocking at Lone Rock Beach video, that was when we discovered our fuel pump was not working. Of course, because we wanted to use that 30 gallons that's in that tank to fill the 30-gallon tank for the generator.
Yeah, we did.
It was broken.
Yeah.
So, you know,
this poor guy had to, oh man.
I would have had to do this anyway because we needed more fuel than the 60 gallons we had on board.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It was how you had to put it in.
Yeah. I had to hold the gas can with my knee. If you've seen a gas can recently, they've got all this EPA crap on there that makes it completely unusable as a gas can.
Yeah.
It's not going to spill, but you're going to spill a ton of it while trying to push the levers and hold the things, and it was a pain. But we got that fixed by Grand Design at the National Rally.
Yes, one thing about the Grand Design National Rally, and it's only true for the National Rally, so don't expect it at the smaller rallies.
Some of them do, some don't, so check on it.
Yeah, you can get some stuff fixed while you're there.
Part of the sign-up process is list 3 things you want fixed. Doesn't matter if you're out of warranty, you just get it fixed.
We're not sure if they're going to continue that forever, but as of now, that's what's going on at the Owners Rally in Indiana.
So that was a rally fix. We just said, hey, pump's not working. Turns out what it was is it just got gummed up. All they had to do was knock it with a hammer a little bit and get it going. Beat it with a hammer. Next on the list wasn't something that broke, but we wanted to fix it before it broke. It's the 50 amp slow blow fuse or thermal fuse for the hydraulic system. They've been known to kind of go bad over time and make your hydraulic system just sort of slow down or stop functioning, and you have to replace that or bypass it. I actually heard about this and I kept an extra fuse with us, but then Grand Design started recommending replacing it with an 80 amp fuse. I went ahead and preemptively swapped out our 50 amp fuse with an 80 amp resettable fuse, And honestly, once we got that replaced, our jacks and everything are much more responsive. So I think it was probably going bad.
Yeah, and we do have a hydraulics video out there if you are interested. Right up here, you can click there.
And I have a blog post outlining exactly how to replace that fuse, so you can take care of it yourself.
We'll link that in the description below. Along those same lines, we've had a lot of issues with our jacks making a popping noise.
That was also in our hydraulic video. Basically, I think what happens is temperature changes or something, and the jacks pop. And it's loud, and it shakes the whole RV, and it feels like the RV is going to...
It scared me to death the first few times that it happened, and actually, until we figured out what was wrong with it, it scared me. When one pops, it's a very loud noise, and your whole RV shakes for a second.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what's going on. If you didn't know about it ahead of time, you're not going to know what it is. So.
Right. And it's not like the jacks are just falling to the ground. They pop and maybe move like a millimeter. But when you move 20,000 pounds 1 millimeter,
you feel it.
you feel it.
Yeah.
So the fix for that is to put some anti-stiction fluid in. Again, we'll put links to the video we did on that below, but it's an easy fix. Pull some hydraulic fluid out, you put some anti-stiction fluid in, you cycle the jacks a few times, and you've got that stuff in there.
Yeah, and quite honestly, we are due to do that again.
We've done it twice already, and we're starting to get some more popping.
Yeah.
So I think we're due to do it again, or maybe even just replace all the hydraulic fluid with something a little more better. That's it.
Yes, yeah. Another fix at the rally was our LED lights on the front cap.
Right. Ours is a 2018 model, so they aren't the kind that change colors. They're just blue, but they're down our front cap. And they were starting to have some pieces of it, little sections go out, and you know, you don't want to turn it on because you're ashamed that you have broken LEDs. You know, it's like, oh, look at this cool. Oh no, there's a big gap. They swapped them out, we're good to go.
Okay. One day, our microwave / convection oven just stopped working. We don't know why.
One thing we read about that online is there's a couple of fuses that can be replaced inside the microwave. So I pulled it out, opened up the top, sure enough, bam, fuse.
Thought that solved the problem.
Replaced it, put it back together.
And it worked.
Lasted a day or two.
Yeah, it worked for like a day, and then the next day, stopped working again. So
apparently there are some other fuses we could have tried, but we talked to Grand Design, and they just sent us a new microwave, swapped it out, good to go.
Okay.
Next up, it seems like we have a lot, but this really isn't that bad. They're all minor.
They're all pretty little. Yeah, they're all pretty little.
Our bed started to fall apart. Just kidding. Well, it felt like it, because what happened is the bed, of course, has a lift, so you can get up under there for
your storage. Yeah.
And it's hinged, and it's got hydraulic actuators that help lift it.
Right. So we replaced the mattress that came with the RV. The mattress that came with the RV was a thin, lighter weight mattress.
Piece of crap.
Which you could feel, right? So we replaced it with it's 8-inch memory foam mattress from Mattress Insider that we love. But that mattress is a lot heavier. And I think that's why stuff started getting shifted around and the hinges got loose.
Yeah, and it's tough to say if it was the weight or if it was...
I mean, the hinges don't look that sturdy, really.
They're okay. I think maybe it wasn't quite in the meat. We don't know. All we know is one day the hinges kind of came loose and those hydraulic actuators pushed the front of our bed out, and so we sank in it. And again, that was a pretty easy fix of holding it in place, putting the hinges back on, but in different places, of course. And I think I even added a couple of hinges to it to beef it up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And again, that's an easy fix.
Yep.
If I didn't mention it, if you're going to full-time in an RV, it helps to be handy.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, if you're going to travel full-time, at least be good with a screwdriver and some basic tools, and learn how to kind of fix things a little bit.
Because
you don't want to have to call...
stuff always needs fixed.
Yeah. You don't want to call a mobile tech out to fix a hinge.
Yeah, true. Good call.
Yeah.
One thing was little Miss Daisy's fault. Hold on.
You gonna get her?
Yeah.
So this little angel, she really is. She doesn't bark. She doesn't shed. She'll only bark if you knock on our door. She has separation anxiety a bit when we leave. She would scratch on our front door, and she tore through the screen.
I mean, this little 3.5-pound fluff ball ripped our screen.
It took her a little while.
In 2 different spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this was an easy self-fix. If you've ever replaced screen on something before, you know, you get the little tool and run the rubber down in there. I replaced the screen, and then an easy fix was to get a piece of plexiglass from Home Depot It turns out the door has a little slot right in it, and I cut out a piece of plexiglass, put it in there, and we have been good ever since.
Yep.
Boom. Another thing that we found very early on in our RVing career was our little fireplace just squeaked. Yeah, there's a little thing in there that turns to make the flames look like the flames.
And it did. It sounded like something just needed to be greased or something in there.
I pulled it out, took it apart, sprayed it with some WD-40, and it's good.
It was kind of neat to see the inside of the fireplace.
It's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
Another pretty common problem with RVs are the caps for the awnings just come off. So outside on each of the awnings, they've got little caps on the elbows and the caps on the ends, and sometimes they just blow off when you're driving down the road. So called Grand Design, they sent us new ones, we put them on.
They're probably somewhere in Monument Valley.
Maybe somebody's picking one up going, sure. So easy fix.
Easy fix. We're almost done with our list, but I guess next to last thing that is broken is the MaxAir fan covers.
Our fans are pretty cool in that you can push one button, it turns on and opens up, and push another button, it closes. It's automatic. Well, the one in the main bathroom, of course, gets the most use because it's the most used. And it turned out what happened was the little gearbox in there that helps the lid lift kind of broke a little bit, and so it would go.
And it would like sounded like it got stuck. Yeah.
It was a horrible sound.
It was.
And again, called Grand Design, said this is broken, and they sent us a whole new fan. You know, you can't sell just a little tiny gearbox.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept all the extra parts just in case.
Genius.
Extra motor, extra thingies, we got it all. And I also replaced our blade because it was dirty. I figured, this is dirty, I can just put the new one on.
Why not put a new one on instead of cleaning it?
That's true.
Yeah. And the last thing is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah,
it's definitely the biggest thing.
It's definitely a last but not least sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we've seen this problem online, and of course it happened when I was by myself. The leaf spring broke.
This guy was traveling for 3 days straight by himself.
With Daisy.
With just Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, of course, when it happened, was on day 2.
Yeah. So this is where doing a walk around, when you stop for gas, stop to go to the bath, anytime you stop in your RV, walk around and inspect it and look for anything that's obvious. Look at your hangers, look at your leaf springs, your shackles, look at all that stuff. So I'm walking out of the gas station because I got a snack, and I noticed that the third axle on the left-hand side is a little bit closer to the second axle than it normally is. And of course I'm like, oh no, please no, please no. Because it's like noon on a Friday.
And you were somewhere between Minnesota and Wisconsin.
I was right on the border, actually.
Yeah.
So here's what went down. First of all, this was kind of a known thing for a while, particularly on the double axle toy haulers. And we've talked about this before. Those double axle toy haulers, when you fill them to their max capacity, you've got a few hundred pounds of leeway on the rear axles. On the triple axles, we've got 21,000 pounds just on the rear axles available in a 20,000 pound RV. With about 20 to 25% on the pin, we've got plenty of room in our rear axle. So it wasn't an overloading problem. It was just one of those things, man. Sometimes stuff breaks. It's just chance. So it broke. I looked under there, I saw that it was broken, and we've heard all kinds of nightmares about people being stranded for a couple days while they get the parts. So I was immediately prepared for that. We got really lucky, and we came across an awesome RV dealer.
Yeah.
Coley. So I called them and they said, hey, it's lunchtime on Friday. If you want any chance of this thing getting fixed today, you need to be on your way. I said, bye, and hit the road.
Yeah, well, that was scary too, that you had to continue driving on it.
Right. So, you know, the axles, I've still got 2 good ones. This one's a little bit of a cant to it now. And I just put the hazards on and went about 40 miles an hour, which is the minimum speed on the interstate. And I limped my way to Coley RV. I got there at, I think, about 1:30 or 2 o'clock. Coley RV got me in. As soon as I pulled in, they were waiting for me. They pulled the RV up, got the wheel off, took it apart, got the leaf spring off, took the leaf spring to a metal shop to have one fabricated, got it back, put it on, replaced the worn out tire on the other side because it was riding like this and it was basically trashed. I was in and out of there in 3 hours.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. So a bad situation couldn't have gone any better.
Absolutely.
And the whole time I kept saying to him, I'm so sorry I'm not there. I wish I could be there to help you. And he was like, I'm glad you're not here because you'd be freaking out and you would stress me out even more. So he's probably right.
Yeah, it was best. So now we know if we ever have an incident like that, I'll just send you with a bag like walking to the next destination.
Hey, that doesn't sound right.
So yeah, that situation turned out really, really well. A big shout out to Coley RV because they were awesome.
Yep. That's our list of what has broken so far. Hopefully we don't have to add on.
You had to say so far.
I know. But hopefully we don't add on any more to that list.
At least no self-induced stuff. I don't want to run into anything else, ever.
Yeah, and like you said, hopefully you're handy if you're thinking about getting into RVing, because if you can get the parts sent to you directly, that saves a lot of hassle.
Or if it's something you can just kind of rig up yourself, like the plexiglass or the hinges, or there's all kinds of little projects. My project list is
Never ending.
mile long.
Yeah.
So if you're getting into RVing full time to just relax and do nothing, think again. Because you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
But for us, it's a labor of love. I like working on this. When we first started thinking about RVing, I wanted to learn everything I could about it. That's why I brought all my tools in a toolbox that scratched our RV with us, because I wanted to be able to learn. I wanted to be able to work on this myself. And I've learned quite a bit, but this just goes to show you that even though we're doing this full time and we think we're pretty good at it now, stuff just happens, man.
Yeah.
Stuff's gonna break.
We chose Grand Design not only because it was the right RV for us, but because we heard great things about the customer service. In the past 2 years, they have proven that with the decision that we made, and really hasn't been that bad as far as stuff breaking.
No, I don't think so.
No, but I gotta feel like I gotta knock on wood here.
Some more down here.
Yeah, that's Corian.
Be sure to stay tuned. I think we have some outtakes. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
And our website, changinglanesrv.com.
If you have any questions about anything as we talked about, or whatever, things in general, feel free to comment below. We try to get to every single question. It may take us a day or two.
Right.
Send us an email from our website.
changinglanesrv.com.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
So do that again. Let's do a little more upbeat.
Okay. I'm trying to channel my inner energy. It's gone. It's not there. Freaking woke up. Oh, you're filming right now.
Don't forget the camera's over on this, and I keep looking at myself, which makes me off.
Well, I'm looking at myself because I just got up.
Hey, people.
Look at Daisy over there taking a pee-pee.
We got a dump going on over here.
Not the RV kind.
Yeah, Daisy doesn't adhere to the dump schedule of the RV.
I think it would take Daisy decades to fill up a black tank.
Yeah. So, what time was it? Who are you going to call?
Grand Design?
Mobile Tech.
Christina's calling.
No, go ahead.
Hello?
Hey, Tara, it's Christina.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm talking to you on my watch because we're standing in front of a camera. You're on video right now. Oh.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry.
Don't be sorry.
In the pull, you like that when I talk about hydraulics? Mm-hmm. We have to pull.
If you're wondering why we're rushing through these all of a sudden, it's because we just got a call to go to dinner and we're hungry. I'm like it got stuck.
Most of the time.
You hear those dogs?
Yeah, I can close this door.
It's like a dog fight. Daisy's in a dog fight. Daisy's gonna kick some butt.
Because they were awesome.
Yep. And thanks, Emily, for your help too.
Yeah.
There's your shout out.
Yeah. If you have any questions about any of the repairs that we talked about or shown, please feel free to ask us.
You need to burp?
I do. I was holding it in.
I know, but I could tell.
Okay, let's start that over. Okay. You want in, Daisy?
No.
You want in? Why won't we let you in?